Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. There's a couple of bills that have been going through the legislature, and it looks like they're well on their way to becoming law, signed in by the governor. House Bill 1674 and Senate Bill 560, the anti-protest laws. This first bill I'm going to talk about is House Bill 1674. And what it does is it's really detrimental to First Amendment rights here in Oklahoma. It's authored by West and then one of our favorites, Standridge, who is really one of these guys who loves all the rights and freedoms for himself and his buddies, but hates them for everybody else that he disagrees with. And that's basically what we got here. Because as you know, Standridge has put together, or is putting together, I'm not even sure what's happened with it, it's real secret, he probably has, but he's put together his online militia to combat the left through social media and digital means. This is a true thing. This is something he's very scared of. He's scared of the left. He's scared of them being on social media. He's scared of them putting stuff out, doing blogs or anything else, and their media and getting out to people. He's so scared of it. He wants to put together a troll farm, will you, to go after leftists online here in Oklahoma to combat them digitally. It's a war to him. And that's exactly what we got here. That's exactly what a continuation of this is, of that. Because now what's he doing? He's going around and now he's finding force of law ways he can go about harming those he disagrees with, and that's what this bill does. Because on the surface, sounds great. Hey man, we need to make sure people are protesting lawfully. They're not illegally blocking the street. That sounds like a great idea. You shouldn't be doing it illegally. You should get a permit or whatever else if you're going to do that. That sounds awesome, but that's just the front face of this. That sounds great on the surface, but that's not all this bill does. It doesn't just put penalties on people who illegally block up a street, let's say. I think it goes a little further than that, because there's language in this bill that says obstruct, and then it starts to try to define what obstruction is. Obstruction means any impediment of a roadway, and not only that, all they have to do, like it says, is feel that it's hazardous in some way. They feel intimidated by this protest, so this roadway feels hazardous. That's the test, the litmus test that's needed to find out if you broke this law. So really, let's put together a scenario here. We got a protest going on. They're not blocking the street. They're on the sidewalk. They may still be in the right-of-way technically, but they're on the sidewalks. They're not blocking the street. But individual A over here comes through, disagrees with the protest going on, but feels a little intimidated and may feel like it's hazardous to drive through there. So by the language in this bill, this guy not only has a right to run these people over if he feels threatened, but he can sue them for damages and have them arrested because, you know what, I felt like this was hazardous, so they're breaking the law. And it's not that they were blocking the roadway, it's that they made the roadway feel hazardous by having a protest on the sidewalk on either side of it. So that's what we get with the language in this bill. And depending on the judge or the prosecutor who gets the case, depends kind of what these penalties, or if they're guilty or not of whatever they do. Something like that could definitely come up with a bill like this and the way it's written. Now, hold on, the bill doesn't just stop there. It also gives penalties, criminal, to those who block the street or impede it in any way, like I was saying. But it also has a section where the person that felt threatened can sue you for damages if any happens to him. If he happens to run you over because he felt threatened and disagreed with your free speech, well, he can also sue you for the damages to his car. So that's what this bill also does. Oh, and it goes one more step further. If you're an organization, let's say you're an organization and you put out Facebook messages or anything else saying, hey, we're having a protest this day, well, now you're liable too if anything happens. And they can come for your assets and shut you down. But that's the whole point of this bill. As I said with Standridge, he just can't stand the other side. He can't stand their rights. He can't stand their freedoms, and he wants to shut them down any way he can. This is a war to him, and this is how he's fighting it. And that's what you get right here with House Bill 1674. Now the next bill is Senate Bill 560, which is a touch-off on House Bill 1674. Basically, this one grants you the legal immunity, civil or criminal, if you so happen to injure or kill someone with your vehicle while getting away from a protest, riot, or blocked up roadway. Basically, if you feel threatened during a protest, if you see a bunch of people unlawfully gathering, it didn't even say protest, let's just say they're doing something unlawfully, anything unlawfully in your area. If you feel threatened by it, you can run them over. You don't only have the right to run them over, you can also, per the last bill we talked about, sue them for the damages. And it's basically what this bill does. It's a piggyback on the last one to really get it in there, stick it home, that if you run somebody over during a protest, we're okay with it here in Oklahoma, especially if we disagree with that message. Because we can make it look like, with these bills, that you were threatened in some way. We can make it look that way. I don't care if they were way off 20 feet on either side of the roadway, but if you felt threatened by that, well, these bills will cover you, and then we'll go after them. Because that's what this does. This is all about squashing free speech, because they didn't like what they saw last summer here in Oklahoma City. They haven't liked what they saw with the Moral Monday marches, and they didn't like what they saw down at the county when you saw the commissioners deal with the $62 million fiasco in the jail trust. They didn't like that. So they want to shut all that down. They don't want the left here protesting in Oklahoma whatsoever at all. And not only that, we're going to make sure that if they do protest, we're going to put them in jail for it. We're going to take away their rights. We're going to take away their freedoms. We're going to take away their jobs. We're going to take away everything they got, their assets, the groups that they champion, the organizations that they donate to. We're going to shut them down too, because we want to control every aspect of Oklahoma. And that's what you get with guys like Standridge, who are really and truly the most dangerous people we have in this state. People like Rob Standridge. They can't stand the left so much, their hatred for them so much, he's willing to use the force of law to harm his fellow Americans. Of course, to him, they're not Americans. He doesn't see them as citizens at all. We're all illegals. We're here illegally as far as he's concerned, so he has every right to abuse us in any way he deems fit. That's just how Republicans see it. They do. Conservatives are that way, especially when you see ads from Jim Inhofe saying that if you're a Democrat or a liberal in Oklahoma, you're not an Oklahoman. So basically, right there, you're a second-class citizen, you have less rights and freedoms than everybody else. And really, is that how it is? It's not really. But the problem we have with this is complacency. We really got to fight this back. We really have to fight back against stuff like this. We need to show it for the silliness it is. Not only the silliness, but it's almost dangerous in a way, because this guy's fear, this guy's hate, and this guy's cowardice has gone on so much that he has to go out and try to destroy those he disagrees with politically. And that's what this is all about. This is about people not being able to dissent. This is about taking away the First Amendment rights of those he deems as not citizens of a state and of a nation. So why should they have privy to the First Amendment rights when they disagree with him? When he deems that those people that check that box as a Democrat on their registration card are no longer citizens. And that's what we got here when we have bills that come out like House Bill 1674 and Senate Bill 560. They're designed to squash free speech of a dissenting side that they disagree with. And it's meant to squash it in the most cynical and evil of ways, because one, here we are. If we protest, not only can we be criminally liable if we make someone feel threatened that as they're driving down a roadway, whether we're blocking it off or not, you still could be liable. So that right there is the fear to keep you from wanting to do it in the first place. If that's not enough, the guy that can run you over if he just feels threatened can also sue you. Now, if that's not enough, the organizations that fund this, the organizations that champion liberal causes, we can take their funding away with this if that's not enough. And if that's not enough, we will take your life by running you over with a vehicle because we disagree with what you believe in, we disagree with your free speech, and we want to use the force and power of government to harm you in any way we can. Look it up, folks. Oklahoma Republican Party platform. It's in there. How to use the force of government to harm those they disagree with. This is 101 Republican plank Republican platform. Right here is what you see. And we should really fight stuff like this. We should really get out and talk about stuff like this. I've only seen a few people even mention stuff like this, and I'm not sure what we can do about it. It'll probably be signed into law, like I said. But maybe there's ways we can highlight this. Maybe there's ways we can use this law against them. Like I said, Second Amendment rally? Are they going to be in the street? Hey man, that sounds pretty dangerous. I don't care if they're 50 yards from the right of way. You want to have a protest with your Second Amendment gun? And you want to scare me and my family? Well, with this law, maybe I got some rights too. Anyway,